Okay, in this video I'm going to attempt to install DHCP services on my Windows 2008 server. But first off, I thought I'd show you, this is my firewall right here. I'm using an Indian firewall as my router and my firewall. And I've brought up DHCP configuration because right now my router is handling DHCP. And if you have a home network, probably your router is handling your DHCP, probably a Linksys or a Belkin or a Netgear or some kind of router like that. So anyway, you can see it's enabled DHCP, and I'm going to open it up and show you that I've changed this so that my starting address is 192.168.1.151. So my router is handing out addresses starting at 151 and ending at 254. Okay, and then you can see that I'm also handing out the router's address as the gateway, 192.168.1.1, and the DNS server at 192.168.1.1. So I just wanted to show you, and what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to disable my DHCP on my router and have my Windows server take over the DHCP role. So now that we've taken a look at that, we'll go look at the server. So for the server, I've got the server right here. I need to add a role to the server. So I'm going to open up the server manager here and get that open. And I'll make that a little bit smaller here so that you can see it. Let's see here. Okay, I think you can see that. And we'll go down here to roles, add roles, and I'll hit next. And then right now you can see I have Active Directory installed in DNS, but I want DHCP, so I'm going to select that. And then I'm going to hit next. And then it's going to warn me that I need to have a static IP address, for my server, which I do. Then I'll hit next. It's going to show me my NIC, right now my server's IP address. So I only have one NIC right now on the server. I don't have a bunch of network interface cards or Ethernet ports, just the one. And then I'll hit next. And then right now, preferred DNS server, what I can do is I can put in that DNS server right now. And I think I will. Why not? 192.168.1.1. And I'm going to let my router or my firewall handle the DNS. And then I'll hit next. And I don't have a Win server, so it's not required for right now for this network. And then I can put in here a DHCP scope if I choose to. So right now I could say scope name, I could say my Win 2008 scope, right? Starting IP address 192.168.1.100, and the ending address I'll end at 150, which is typical on like Linksys wireless routers. That range is fairly typical, right? So there we go. It's wired. Subnet mask, activate the scope. I'm going to click OK, hit next. Enable DHCP version 6 stateless mode for the server. I'll just say, okay, that's fine. Hit next. And I'll do that. That's fine. I'll just hit the default on that. I'm not really knowing what I'm doing there with DHCP version 6 anyway, so I'll just hit next. And let's see here. Use current credentials. All right, I've got the this. Skip authorization of this DHCP server in ADDS. So I need to authorize the DHCP server, and I can do it right here from this wizard. So that's kind of good. I could just, this will be authorized too, right, in the creation process. So that's good. Instead of having to do it later, I can authorize it. Because I have Active Directory installed, the DHCP server needs to be authorized through Active Directory, and it can happen right here, right in this wizard. And I'll hit next, and I'll hit install, and we'll see what happens. Okay, installation was successful. So now I can hit close, right? That's pretty good. And now I'm going to go to start. The first time I launch this, I'm going to go to DHCP right here and take a look at it. through the administrative tools, and maybe I'll stretch this open a little bit. And DHCP, there's my scope. Everything's all done. It was handled right there in the wizard, so that was quite easy. Let's see here. I can stretch this out. All right, IP version 4. There's my scope. Active, server option, filters, and I'm going to probably want to do some static assignments for servers on my network, some reservations, and I'll probably do that in the next video. Also, I want to try to see if this is going to work. Okay, as you can see here, I've got an address pool. There's my 100 to 150 start IP address, end IP address, 100 to 150, and it's showing that I haven't leased address leases. This is if I've leased any addresses, but I haven't leased any yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can get one of my computers on my home network to pick up a lease here. So also, if I want to do any reservations, I can do reservations right here, and then there's some scope options right here. And let's see how this works. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'll go down to my router. I want to bring up that router again, right? And there's my router, and I'm going to disable my DHCP on my router. Okay, so just disabled that. And now on my tower on a separate monitor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a command prompt, start run CMD, open up a command prompt, and I'm going to do an IP config space / renew and see if I can get my tower over here to pick up an IP address. So while it's doing that, I'll go back here and see if we can refresh this. Refresh, and then we can see address leases and hit refresh. And I'm not picking up one yet, so I got to figure out why is that. Okay, I got it to work. As you can see right here from my DHCP address leases, when I right-clicked on here and went refresh, there's my tower that shows up, right? That's my tower name. And it shows up, it just picked up the 100 address. Now, what did I have to do to get my tower to pick up this address? Well, on my other computer, I went to start and I launched the command prompt, but I needed to do it from an administrative mode. So I did that. And then the next thing I did was I went in there and I did an IP, config, all one word, space, / release. Okay, and you need to have this elevated privileges to do this. So you need to right click on your command prompt initially and run it as an administrator. Otherwise you'll get that error. So I did an IP config space release on my client computer, and then afterwards, after I did that, then I did a IP config space / renew, and that kick-started it and got it looking for, I guess it cleared out the settings inside my tower so that it could find this server. And you can see here I picked up a lease, and so now my Windows Server 2008 is handling DHCP for my network. And if this is the case, I'm going to go onto my client computer off screen right here and see if I can pick up the internet. And sure enough, I can't. So I need to double check and see, okay, well, if I can't pick up the internet, still probably have some problem somewhere. So I'll double check that.